War always pushes humanity to the edge of innovation. During World War II, the race for dominance wasn't just fought with bullets and tanks. It was a battle of intelligence, creativity, and secret technology. Hidden in underground laboratories and disguised research centers, both sides were creating inventions that were decades ahead of their time. One of the earliest secret projects came from Nazi Germany, the development of the V-2 rocket. It was the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile, capable of reaching targets hundreds of kilometers away. The technology behind it later became the foundation of modern space exploration, the same science that took humans to the moon. Meanwhile, the Allies were conducting their own experiments in secrecy. Deep in the deserts of New Mexico, scientists were working on something that would change the world forever: the atomic bomb. It was the most destructive weapon ever created, but behind its creation were some of the greatest minds in physics and engineering. Beyond weapons, there were technologies made purely for intelligence. Miniature cameras were hidden in pens, cigarette cases, and even in buttons. Spies during World War II used these tiny tools to capture valuable information without anyone ever noticing. It was the dawn of true espionage technology. Communication was another battlefield. The Germans had the Enigma machine, a complex encryption device used to send coded messages that seemed impossible to break. For years, Allied codebreakers struggled to decode it until mathematician Alan Turing and his team finally cracked the code, giving the Allies an enormous strategic advantage. Some of the most bizarre secret inventions were never used in battle, but still showed how far human imagination could go. For example, Project Habakkuk, a British plan to build an aircraft carrier entirely out of ice and wood pulp. It sounds insane, but it was seriously tested during the war. The idea was to create an unsinkable fortress that could float on the ocean for months. Japan also had its share of strange projects. They developed Fugo balloon bombs, massive hydrogen balloons carrying explosives, designed to drift across the Pacific Ocean and strike North America. A few of them actually made it, showing just how unpredictable and creative wartime innovation could be. Underwater warfare was another front for secret technology. The Germans invented the first practical submarine, the U-boat, capable of staying hidden beneath the ocean for weeks. They even experimented with magnetic mines and sonar countermeasures, turning the sea into a silent, deadly battlefield. Meanwhile, Britain and the US were working on radar, the invisible technology that could detect enemy aircraft before they even appeared in the sky. This invention changed the course of the war, allowing Allied pilots to intercept attacks long before they reached the coast. It was a turning point in military defense. The Soviets, on the other hand, focused on psychological warfare. They developed experimental sound devices and broadcasting systems to manipulate enemy morale. Propaganda became a powerful weapon, spreading through radio waves and loudspeakers across the battlefield. In laboratories around the world, scientists were secretly developing jet engines, synthetic fuels, and early versions of night vision devices. These innovations were so advanced for their time that some remained classified for decades after the war ended. There were also medical technologies that emerged from the chaos. Blood plasma transfusions, antibiotics, and mobile surgical units were all improved during wartime. Ironically, war, the cause of so much death, also became the reason millions of lives were saved in the years after the war. One of the lesser-known stories involves the use of invisible ink and microdots. Messages were written between lines of ordinary letters or hidden inside tiny dots on paper. These techniques made it nearly impossible for enemies to detect secret communication unless they knew exactly where to look. Aircraft technology advanced faster in those few years than in the decades before. From simple propeller planes to high-speed jet fighters, the skies became laboratories for innovation. Engineers tested aerodynamic designs that would later inspire modern commercial aviation. Even clothing became part of espionage. Special uniforms with hidden pockets, boots with secret compartments, and coats lined with maps were issued to agents. Every small detail was engineered to increase the chance of survival and success behind enemy lines. Some of the technology developed during that time still shapes our world today. The computer systems that cracked codes became the ancestors of modern computing. The rockets designed for war paved the way for space exploration, and the concept of global communication began from those first encrypted messages. But what's even more fascinating is how much of it remains hidden. Many wartime inventions were destroyed, buried, or classified forever. Some projects vanished along with the people who created them, leaving only fragments of blueprints and stories whispered among historians. World War II proved that human innovation is limitless, but also dangerous. Every discovery came with a moral cost. For every technological leap, there was a question: how far should humanity go in the name of victory? In the end, these secret technologies remind us that progress often comes from the darkest moments in history. War may create destruction, but it also reveals what humans are capable of when pushed to the edge of survival. And as we look back at those inventions, we realize the line between genius and madness has always been thinner than we think.